everybody. Texas got it done in Stillwater last weekend with a huge road win for Tom Herman and the Longhorns going in, being the number 6 team in the country. Joseph Osai just went absolutely ballistic. 12 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 3 sacks, the game-winning tackle, forced fumble, fumble recovery. He turned in an incredible performance, and we're pretty hyped up. As always, please go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, give us that turkey. We like to call it a turkey when you do all 3, so that'd be big time for us, and we appreciate that.
Turkey.
Yes, give us that turkey. But let me pass it off to Trevor. Trevor, what was your thoughts just seeing Joseph Osai just play with these children?
No, it was exciting. I mean, I think we've always known that he's had it in him to really go off and do a game. And I guess he showed us that against Utah in the Alamo Bowl last year. So it was really kind of just a waiting game to see him just completely go off. And I wasn't expecting it against this team. I mean, this is a pretty good team in Oklahoma State with a really good offense. Granted, their O-line is probably the weakness, is what I'd say, of this team at the moment. And that kind of showed because our D-line was playing really well. I mean, we played really well against Baylor too, so maybe we're just on the upward trend for our defense, particularly the line. But, I wasn't expecting him to really get to Sanders as much as he did, considering how elusive that quarterback is. And then containing Chuba as well. Just all around, he just completely balled out. Every play you saw him flash, pretty much. Even if he wasn't making the tackle on said play, he was in the area, or he was doing something that to allow another player to feed off of it. Taquan Graham had was another player that had a fantastic game. Really kind of not a coming out party for him. We've seen him before, but making big plays, had a big fumble recovery as well. So just all in all, really good stuff from our defensive line. But yeah, Osai just probably the greatest. I've heard a lot of people making comparisons, and probably the one that sticks out to me the most is comparing his performance in this game to Sue's performance against us in the Big 12 championship back in 2009, just being that dominant, wreaking that much havoc. And I might even give Osai a little bit better just because of that walk-off tackle that he had. That put the bow on the whole game and his whole performance and just made it all the more iconic.
Yeah, agreed. I think Joseph Osai and the new defense was perfect for him. Seeing him line up more on the edge and be able to get after the quarterback like that. I don't know. I'm really excited what he's going to do at the next level, and I'm so happy he's a bright spot on this defense for sure. But yeah, just echo all those same thoughts. I'm just really proud of that guy.
Yeah, the whole defense under Chris Ash is really, you can see the improvement week by week. Offensively, not as much improvement, but the whole defense as a whole is just playing great. The defensive line was once again really great against the run, shutting Chuba down and LD Brown, forcing fumbles, forcing turnovers, and that's all you can do in the Big 12. I know we gave up 34 points, but I mean in the Big 12, if you force turnovers, that's a win. So yeah, we won the turnover battle, I believe 4-0 or 5-0.
4-0.
Yeah, 4-0, and that kind of negated for us being destroyed in yardage and other things, and the penalties. I think we had 13 penalties, which is very concerning. Very concerning. Too many. And that's been a trend all season, so we need to keep on trying to fix that somehow. But the defense played great. Offensively, it was shaky at times, but we were able to put drives together when we needed them. It was great to see Jake Smith, being back, being healthy, making plays for us, and he had that game-winning touchdown, which is great because you always hear this chatter about Jake Smith being unhappy or whatever. So it was good to see him, So it was good to see him just play such a big role for us. And then Josh Moore had that clutch touchdown too in overtime. So
his only catch too.
Yeah, it came at the right time.
Yeah,
very clutch of him. And he was clutch down the stretch at Texas Tech too. So you might be having a player there you can target down the stretch. And yeah, the running backs, kind of concerning how Keontae went down, and it looks like he might be out for a while. But Bijan, I thought Bijan played great. I mean, it's hard because our O-line is just not the best O-line ever. So whenever half the time he runs, there's like nothing going anyways. But whenever he does have a hole, he knows how to make things happen. And he's kind of been a workhorse for us. He seems like he's a lot better built than Keontae. You know, he's like more of a pure running back body.
Yeah.
And so he's able to take these hits, at least so far. And I mean, he almost got paralyzed and got up immediately. So
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Bijan looked good. Sam looked. I don't even.
He looked.
Yeah, you go ahead, Matt.
Didn't hurt us, but I don't know. I like what you said about Bijan. Like our O-line sometimes it does not get the push it needs, but for some reason I think it was mostly in the beginning of the game, but I didn't know if I didn't check it. I don't know if I noticed much in the rest of the game, but like he would make plays that looked like they were going to be like 2-3 yard runs, and he kind of just squirm out of them and make something happen. So I mean. I would say Keontae can do that, but I haven't seen that from him in a while. So I'm really excited to see that from Bijan. The defense, I really liked what I saw from Jacoby Jones. I thought he came on pretty well in the game, but this is the Big 12, obviously, so it's all offense. But what's concerning to me is a little bit how like. To me, the only reason we won this game is because we won the turnover battle. Those like 1 or 2 turnovers don't happen. I don't think we win this game, personally. We touched on the penalties, 13 penalties. I mean, yeah, we got the win, but like, does that really mean like our problems are fixed? Like, personally, I don't really think so. 142 yards of penalties is just not a recipe for winning, and then letting Spencer Sanders to 400 yards is pretty concerning. But yeah, I'm glad we got the win. I'm just still very concerned that like this is what it took, and going to overtime too. Like that's what it took to win this game. But I mean, I'll take it. I'm happy. The bleeding stopped. It was a good win. But I don't know. We're still hurting in other categories. I mean, look, we got recruits. Billy Bowman. I'm sure most of y'all know this already, but like said, the reason he wanted to change his mind is because we don't win here and we don't have the coaching staff to do it. And I saw a lot of Texas fans get really upset about that and start like bashing the kid for like, what does he know? It's like. Man, like that's that mediocre, like it's them, not us attitude. That's where it is what it is for what we. Excuse me, like we are where we are because of that type of attitude. And yeah, I'll take the win, but I'm still very concerned with this team. And yeah, but go Horns, we got it on Halloween. So
yeah. No, I agree. I mean, when you really dissect this game, like, yeah, there were a lot of, I mean, I guess Halloween-esque if you want to compare it to the holiday that it fell on. Yeah, there's some very unusual things that happened. The turnovers, of course, and I do want to point out this is progress because we scored on all of the turnovers that we created, which I cannot remember.
I was like, wow, we took advantage.
Time that's happened. Granted, most of them were
in the game.
Right. Most of them are field goals instead of touchdowns, but still, I mean, a score is a score off of a turnover, and I feel like past 2 years especially, every time we'd get a turnover, it'd be for nothing, other than just taking a little bit of time of possession out of the opponent's hand. So those were obviously game changers. And then special teams, Deshaun Jameson with the kick return, that was massive. I think that was a turning point in the game. Gave us a bunch of juice. All of a sudden, took us out of a double score deficit to allow us to kind of be able to come back, because we were down and it looked like Oklahoma State was about to run away with it there until that happened. So that was big. Our punter is looking a lot better. Being able to take that hit and continue the drive was key for him. And he just had a lot of really good punts. Like, dude is improving and gathering some confidence. And, I mean, it's good to see that, especially considering just how much turmoil it was, especially around Oklahoma. It was just so negative that I never would have guessed that he'd be able to come back from it. So here's to you, Buchevsky. You're looking better.
Yeah.
Redeeming yourself. But yeah, those, and then also just last thing to mention in regards to the weirdness of the game, it's just calls by these refs. There's some bad calls in our direction too, but I do think that Oklahoma State got a bit of the short end of the stick on some of them, like the Stoner catch that they turned out to say it wasn't a catch, but
catch.
You thought it was a catch?
I thought
I thought it was too.
Yeah.
I was shocked when they overturned it
because
personally.
it did touch the ground, but I felt like he had his hand on the bottom, like towards the nose, pointing towards him.
He seemed to retain possession the entire time, and to me, I thought, like, if anything, like, they would keep it a catch just because there's not enough evidence.
Mm-hmm.
But they still overturned it, which was big. And then a few other, I can't think of them off the top of my head besides that one, but there were definitely a few other penalties that seemed kind of ticky-tack, and it made it. I was joking with the friends I was watching it with, who were like, I wonder if Tom Herman invested in this game a little bit and slip the refs a little bit and say, hey, I need this win or my job is gone. But yeah, so bunch of unusual things that made this game what it is. I mean, obviously Oklahoma State on paper and based off of the stat sheet and everything, like, they should have ran away with this game, but those turnovers were so costly, along with those other things that I mentioned, those big swing plays that we had.
Yeah, you nailed it with the Tom Herman, vintage game. This is what life with Tom Herman's like. We're gonna win some good games, and it's gonna be just like extremely close, very just stressful, last second win, ugly, and then we're gonna lose games like that too. It's just like we'll never ever dominate a team under him.
We'll never look like the better team in a win. Like, I swear.
Yeah.
Well, because they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they are. They just are. They're just the better team. See, I'm telling you, like, Oklahoma State that game looked like the better team by far.
Yeah, like we said before the game, a big key for us would be taking advantage of Spencer Sanders. He's turnover prone, and we did that, and it saved us. But yeah, like you said, they did look like the better team, but we won. I mean, you got to give Herman credit for getting that win. He should be like kissing Joseph Osai's feet, because if Osai's like, my shoulder's hurting, I'm not playing this week, Tom Herman's done. Like,
done.
Fired. I hate to say it, but without Osai, we lose that game big time, and Herman couldn't afford a loss in that game right there. So he should definitely be thanking Osai. But, just on the Tom Herman talk in general, it's good to see they're making progress. We did show some improvement in some areas. But what I want to see from him to, change my opinion of him is I want to see us go out and beat teams that we're supposed to beat. Like, I think 3 of our last 4 games we should be winning, at least comfortably. I want to see us go beat West Virginia and not have it in doubt in the fourth quarter.
They're a good team, though, and we'll get to that.
Yeah, West Virginia, that might be a bad example because West Virginia is good, but Kansas and maybe Kansas State, because Kansas State doesn't look like the same team without Skylar Thompson. So, I want to see Herman put together some solid wins that are convincing and not just ugly, just so much blatant bad coaching, lack of discipline. We need to start seeing improvement where it translates to comfortable wins that we can build off of, because it's like we're living on a prayer in the Oklahoma State game, and you got to give them credit. Oklahoma State's a really good team, but like Matt Madrid was basically saying, it didn't inspire much confidence in the trajectory of the program. But I mean, he did get a top 10 road win, so
Yeah.
It's just a weird game. It was a very weird game, and I had mixed feelings about it. But I'm just happy we got the dub, so I'll leave it at that.
Quick props to Tylan Wallace. That dude is gonna be
Yes.
so freaking good in the NFL. Oh my God. That guy can get anywhere he wants. He can catch any ball. That guy is reliable, consistent, and clutch. Like, oh my God, I can't wait to see that guy on Sundays. That guy is a beast. And I don't know how he opened for some reason. I mean, I guess last year he really didn't have too good of a game, but I don't know. He's just always he plays up to the competition, and I'm a big fan of that guy. He's got that Tyler Boyd DNA. I can't wait to see him.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. I still can't believe that he made that touchdown catch over, was it Green? Jalen Green that was guarding him? But it should have been pass interference, but he got it. He was just completely all over him, and just I don't know how, but somehow just managed to get his arms above. Again, I think it was Green, but I could be wrong. But the defender's head and just snag it somehow. He's unbelievable. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as weird as it is to say, because he terrorizes us every year. I'm gonna be sad to see stop watching him play in the Big 12, because he's just like a fun football player to watch. He plays like he's 6'7", just mossing people, but he's 6 foot.
Yeah.
6'1", and he just plays so big, so strong, and he's got great just awareness. So yeah. I don't know what the Bolitnikov standings look like right now, but he should definitely be in the mix there. And yeah, he definitely. I mean, we made some plays on him too, though. Deshaun Jameson had a really good breakup on him. He was trying to moss Jameson. Jameson almost picked it off. So we went back and forth. I mean, and yeah, just Tylan Wallace. Chuba, though, on the other hand, didn't do well.
That was a surprise to me, honestly.
Well, we shut him down again. I think we've. Past 2 years, really, we've played him really well.
Yeah.
I guess we didn't play him well 3 years ago when we played in Stillwater. That game, I think, was like a coming out party for him. But yeah, past two, we've always seemed to. Our run defense is definitely a strength. I suppose it was last year too of our defense. They always seem to do pretty good against the run, which is good in some regards, I guess. Good to be good at one thing. Better than none. But yeah, I want to touch on a few more things before we move on, just because I think it's important. Let's talk about our offense. Let's talk about Sam. His game.
It wasn't pretty, man.
Yeah. I'm starting to hear rumblings now that, Sam is injured again. And I'm like, but what is hurt? Because nothing looks like he's hurting. He just looks off. And I can't seem to put a finger on it. But I watched a press conference this week with Sam, and one reporter, forgot who it was, basically asked, is Sam hurt? It was a more loaded question than that, obviously, but hinted at that. And Tom Herman openly said, Sam plays injured all the time, or Sam is always playing hurt. So he acknowledged that he's hurt. He didn't say what is hurt, but something is up with Sam. Granted, he always seems to be able to turn it on when the lights are the biggest and when the stakes are the highest in the fourth quarter. But yeah, I don't know what's going on during the rest of the game, because he's missing a lot of wide open throws. He's overshooting and undershooting receivers. Part of that I want to blame on the coaching staff for rotating the receivers so often, because they do that way too much.
Yeah, I know what you mean about that. There's no consistency into who he throws to. You
exactly.
know what I mean?
And I feel like if they didn't do that as much, it'd be easier for him to really grow comfortable with certain receivers. Because if you're constantly having to adjust to the different speeds of all the guys and their different skill sets, it's hard to get a rhythm going. So that I think would help. But what do you think, Myers, in regards to Sam? Just because I feel like we have to touch on him at least a little bit.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's like, I think the best explanation would be, and we've said this before, that he's just not confident with the receivers that he has because he doesn't have that connection as much, and they really struggle, in man coverage and stuff, getting separation, whereas Duvernay and Colin and LJ could always just get open or make plays. So maybe he just doesn't have the confidence, so he's like just tense when he throws, because you'll see him a lot. Like, there's a lot of plays. I remember one of the plays this weekend against Cade Brewer. He was rolling out and he like hitched twice before he threw it, and on a rollout, and Cade Brewer's like at the sideline when he catches the ball. If he throws it on time, Cade Brewer catches it and has room to work. And he's always late on throws, not perfectly accurate. It's like he's playing hurt or just not confident in the new offense, or he's just playing really tense because, maybe he's feeling that pressure that Herman's feeling. I don't know. But it's really weird to watch. But I mean, he's not horrible. He's been good. He makes plays when we need him.
Yeah,
But we expected more from Sam. It's kind of like at times you see a lot of freshman Sam in there, which we didn't see at all as a sophomore.
Yeah.
Not much last year as a junior either. Maybe for one game or two games. But it's like ever since, what game was it when he just started looking off? Was it the TCU game? He played good against TCU.
TCU last season. Or are you talking about this season?
This season.
Yeah, TCU again.
Yeah. So maybe TCU messed him up mentally, because OU, he was showing like he just looks hesitant out there, and I guess it's translating, because I noticed a lot against Oklahoma he was watching the pass rush a lot, and that's usually unlike Sam. So I don't know. Maybe he's in his head right now, because he's not just – there's a lot of balls that he's leaving out there that should be like better throws and stuff. So I don't know. Hopefully he can take a step forward, but West Virginia's got probably the best defense we've seen and the best D-line coming in Austin this weekend. So.
That doesn't make me – he also has this thing I think you touched on he watches the pass rush. Like, as soon as he gets in his face, like, I feel like he brings his eyes down too fast sometimes. And I don't know. I think we'll get into the West Virginia preview, but even this week that's going to be really telling. Was it last year? Last year was his shoulder, right? That hurt him?
Yeah.
It was bothering him?
Or his ribs.
It was his ribs. Oh, my God.
Yeah, ribs.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm sure he's not the healthiest guy, but we would never. I feel like we'd never find out. He's just too much of an Iron Man.
They say that his hand's also been messed up, and that makes sense because I remember when I was little playing football, I had to play a game with like a broken thumb, like jammed really bad or messed up, and it was bad. Like you could feel it when you're throwing. It's not the same at all. So maybe he's got like a really bad. Yeah, maybe his hand's messed up, because I know that sounds minor, like you should be able to throw through it, but it's not. It can definitely affect the way you throw and how confident you are. So maybe that's true. I've heard that rumor out there, but yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely something to look out for. And yeah, this coming week will be a big test with West Virginia's defense, which honestly could definitely be better than the defense that we just played in Oklahoma State. A few more quick points I just want to touch on real quick. Captain Kerstetter, man. That was literally a butt fumble of himself. First quarter, it's like 3rd and 2. And we were driving, I feel like, on that drive. Like that was a sad drive to see stall out off of something as stupid as that. Kerstetter snaps the ball. Sam is obviously in shotgun like he is.
Yeah, I guess
every play.
When we ever understand?
Right. I guess he thought that Sam was going to try to QB sneak it, but I haven't seen us do that unless it's like 4th and inches or something, or on the goal line maybe. So yeah, he snaps it as if he's under center. Ball bounces off his butt, lands on the ground, and somehow we recovered it, thankfully, because I think we would have been in really bad position.
Center, right?
Yeah, new
Yeah.
center this year. But
Jeez. Yeah.
it's just funny that the guy continues week after week to because he had a really good reputation like coming into
Yeah.
this season. Like he's
It
always
was
been like
weird. Is
a
then
really
this
good,
season is just memes.
yeah,
Just come on, man.
yeah. Between this and then stupid
Effort penalties.
penalties and yeah. What did the coaching what did Tom Herman call them? Something
Effort.
penalties?
Effort penalties.
Effort penalties. Yeah. So
It's all good.
yeah.
They don't count.
Didn't he?
So that's
Didn't I don't know. Man. I don't think it was this game. I thought there was like a no call. It was a no call, like late hit out of bounds. I thought maybe I was
it
watching
wouldn't surprise me.
maybe I was watching another game, but I had PTSD seeing that.
Right. That and Cade Brewer's getting targeted too often.
I agree with that. I
In
don't
this
think
game especially. I mean, I like him in like
short yardage,
yeah,
like
short
big penalties,
yardage.
special plays, like
Right.
play in the end zone type stuff. Yeah.
But when you have speed like Jake Smith or hell even like Wiley, who's also a tight end that can really get yardage after the catch. Brewer's not that guy. Brewer's the guy to run his route, turn around, catch the ball, and go down.
Fall down, yeah.
Which there's nothing wrong with that. You need those guys on your team, but getting way too many targets. And maybe that's Sam's doing. Maybe that's Sam like feeling comfortable with Brewer over some of these other guys, but did not seem to go very favorably in this game.
And next up for the Longhorns is the West Virginia Mountaineers, who are traveling to Austin. They're 4-1 in Austin since they joined the Big 12, which is kind of concerning.
Unacceptable.
I don't like that.
I remember back in 2018, last time they were in Austin, Matt and I were sitting right in the student section together, and we just saw Wilder run right towards us after that game touchdown, threw the horns down.
Damn.
That was a tough one. I was one of the most like angriest I've ever been after a Longhorns game.
Yeah, man.
So.
Most Longhorn wins, I'm sad, but that one, I was angry, dude. I was like, I want to punch dude right now, dude. I swear, a West Virginia fan gets my face, dude. Fucking swing on him. But no, yeah, that was awful. That was awful. And they got the chance to do it again this week.
Yeah, that game actually kind of started this little rivalry.
There's more
they really look forward to playing Texas every year. I mean, just go on Twitter and look up #Horns Down right now. A lot of Mountaineers really excited to play the Longhorns. Yeah, and I don't know, they look forward to this game a lot, and that's not good for us because they're an underdog and they're a good team. When you look at their team, the first thing that stands out is their defensive line with the Stills brothers, who've been there for seems like forever. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely going to be the best defensive line we've seen all season, and their whole defense is good. And we'll talk about them more in a minute. But yeah, led by Jarrett Dagey on offense, the quarterback from Texas, Lubbock, Texas. I believe he's probably related to Seth Dagey in some way, but
is that how you say his name, Dagey?
Yeah, Dagey.
Really?
Doge?
I thought it was Doge.
No, you're Doge.
Dagey.
Whatever. Doesn't even look like Dagey, but whatever.
Yeah, it's weird, man. Like it looks so much like Doge, but yeah, it's Dagey apparently. So yeah,
I'm thankful that you mentioned his name before I did because I would have
said
Doge.
I was gonna say Doge.
All right, well, let me pass it off to Trevor with
yes.
Give me your thoughts on West Virginia.
I mean, yeah, they're a very solid team. I'm surprised that we're 6.5-point favorites going into this game. I guess they really are giving us the edge, and the fact that we beat Oklahoma State in a good game, and we're now back at home. But yeah, the home team especially, past 4 seasons, the away team has won us 2 times in Morgantown and them in Austin these past 2. So very unusual in this matchup. But yeah, I mean, very good team. Their defense is one of the best in the country, even better than Oklahoma State. So if you thought that was a good defense, apparently this one's even better than that, and in a lot of the same capacities. Their D-line, obviously, really stellar. Like you just mentioned with the Stills brothers. Their linebacking core is really good. And their secondary is pretty good, too. I mean, I think they have one of the best pass defenses in the country, too, which especially in the Big 12 is something extremely impressive that I can't remember ever hearing about before. I mean, I'm trying to think of a good pass defense in the Big 12. And, I mean, I guess us way back in the day. I mean, that's all that's coming to mind. But, yeah, so definitely on that end. And then on their offensive side of the ball, they're a lot more of a run-first offense, ground and pound, play the clock game, try to maintain possession for long periods of time, and then once they do score, kick the ball back to the offense and then hold them on defense. So kind of an old school mentality in that regard. But they play really hard, very aggressive team. They've lost some weird games, kind of like us. They lost to Texas Tech, which we almost lost to Texas Tech, so I'm not going to make fun of them for that.
We should have lost.
They beat Kansas and Kansas State very handedly, and then lost to Oklahoma State at the beginning of the year. So they've had their losses, they've had their wins, much like us. But yeah, so I see this as, even though we're ranked and they're not, our records are the same, and I would say that we're two very similar teams on the talent scale. It'll really be in my opinion, the game will come down to our O-line versus their D-line, as well as our run defense, D-line versus their O. I mean, it's going to be very much a trench warfare game. Who's better in the trenches? I think that's kind of the key to the game. Y'all have any additional thoughts?
One thing that kind of stood out to me for this game is they give, obviously, like it was stated already, that Letty Brown is like the heart and soul of this offense. It runs through him. He's like averaging like 18 and 20 carries a game. He had 24 against K-State. He's really good. I was high on him coming into the season. But we just played a better running back in Chuba and a better offense, in my opinion. So I think the game plan is going to be kind of the same. So if we could slow down Chuba, I think we could do it to Letty. And then, which I think that obviously opens up the possibility for us to get cooked by Jared Dagey. He's thrown for 300 yards in the past 3 games. I think the lowest he's thrown for is only like 280 something, which is actually pretty impressive. He's playing very efficient lately. And our second half of our defense is just a little too shaky still for my liking, for what our talent is supposed to be back there. So, I mean, if there's a place that they might catch us, I think they will catch us. And going to be vulnerable is in the passing game. They have a big play wide receiver in Bryce Wheaton. Winston Wright is also pretty good. They also use Letty in the pass game a little bit too, which is interesting. But, yeah, I think that those are the main keys right there. If we can shut down the run, we shut down mainly what they have, but it also is going to leave us vulnerable. So those are just my initial thoughts on this game.
Yeah, you nailed it right there. I think we'll be okay against Letty Brown. And don't forget about Kennedy McCoy. Kennedy McCoy and Letty Brown have been there for like 100 years, it seems like. But they like Kennedy McCoy gets a lot of the carries too, and he's still very good backs, and we've seen a lot of them. So they kind of have a nice tandem there. But like you said, the strength of our defense is stopping the run. That's what we've been like entirely under Tom Herman's tenure. It's always been stop the run first, then get sliced in the secondary. So Jarrett Dagey, he's a good quarterback, but he's a lot worse when you get pressure on him. He's one of those quarterbacks that doesn't handle pressure well. So it'll be really important for Joseph Osai and company to to help slow down that pass game, because if we let West Virginia, who has a bunch of fast receivers, they're super fast, with like Sam James, like you said, Wheaton. They also have George Campbell, who was like a 5-star out of high school, who had 2 touchdowns last weekend. They got good players at wideout, and they're fast, so our secondary could definitely be vulnerable. So definitely need to get a pass rush on Jarrett Dagey. But yeah, I think that's what it'll come down to for our defense. But speaking on West Virginia's defense a little bit more, remember Tony Fields in the offseason? We're like, we need this grad transfer from Arizona. He was all Pac-12. Well, he chose West Virginia over Texas, and
Wow.
he's having a great year for him. He's probably one of their best players on defense. He's a linebacker. He's just like a tackle machine. And from what I've seen, he's good at, creating pressure. So and they also still have Josh Norwood on the team in the back end, who has also been there for a while, very experienced. And he had a pick last weekend. So they got players. It's kind of like Oklahoma State situation where people will say, oh, we're more talented, we shouldn't lose to an inferior team. No, they got some talent too. I remember like Dante Stills was like a top 100 athlete out of high school. So, yeah, man, I'm not super confident in this game for some reason. It just seems like a Tom Herman thing, to go beat Oklahoma State, then play very sluggish against West Virginia. And it's 11 a.m. kick. And
Oh, no.
yeah, and this year we have not been good at 11 a.m. kicks at
I
all.
don't like that.
So
I'm tired, bro. I'm sleepy.
yeah, so I don't know, man. It's going to be I expect a stressful game. I'll be very impressed if we go out there and do what we're supposed to do and play well early. But yeah, Trevor, what you got?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious how this game is going to turn out, because it can be one of two things. It could be a ground and pound game for both teams where it's very low scoring, and it seems very Tom Herman of us to, on a team that likes to run the ball and dominate time of possession, that we respond by doing the same instead of doing the opposite. So that one surprised me. And then I'm also curious, is this going to be a high-scoring affair where we're airing the ball out a lot and they're airing it out to their talented receivers as well? And like you said, Daggy is super efficient right now. Really good completion percentage. Certainly way better than Sam's. Sam's has really not been well for a combination of reasons. But that, I think, will eventually bite us in the butt at some point if that doesn't get turned around. So I have no idea. Do y'all have an idea? I mean, if I had to guess, and we'll talk about it at the end when we touch on our game predictions, but I think it'll be more of a lower scoring defensive battle myself. But yeah, I've been wrong before.
I hope to be, I think this is going to be one of those classic, it won't be high scoring, but it'll be in the 30s and upper 20s, like mid 30s. And we'll just make it uncomfortably close. And we'll have to either defend against a drive at the end or make a drive at the end. And it's just going to be very uncomfortable the entire game. I'm very confident, and that's how I'm going to be watching this game. Just uncomfortable and uneasy.
A Texas special.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, and West Virginia just turned in by far their most complete performance of the season. Usually they've been like us, where they've struggled to do complementary football, where the offense will be on and the defense will be off and back and forth. But last week they really put it all together, and it was by far their best game of the season. So they're definitely surging right now, and I just think Neil Brown's like a really good up and coming coach. I think he'll be taking like a big time SEC job in a few years. So I think they got a great hire there. He's in year 2, and you're already seeing the growth. I mean, if they beat us this week, they'll be in the top 25 at 5-2. So yeah, man, this definitely sets up to be a really tough game for Texas, and very nervous about it.
Yeah, let's talk about game implications, because there certainly are some big ones. One, before we get into Tom Herman, which we'll be a big talking point. Obviously, it's going to continue to be for the rest of the year. If we lose this game, is there any chance that we still make it to the Big 12 title? Or are we done?
3 losses.
I would imagine that
I'd say we're done. Yeah,
I say we're
agreed.
done. Yeah, I was about to say no. I don't see OU losing again. So
I mean, they could lose to Oklahoma State, but Oklahoma State only has 1 loss.
exactly.
Yeah.
And Kansas State, I think, only has – no, they got 2 now, right? Yeah, they just got 2. Iowa State has 2.
Yeah, Iowa State has.
I mean, it's still it's a possibility
It's a
to
possibility.
get in, but definitely you're really pushing it at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're really pushing it, and you're really banking on us not dropping the ball again when we're just known for dropping the ball.
Exactly.
Just to put it in layman terms. So I'm not gonna hold my breath if we lose that we make it to the championship. Personally,
Right. Yeah. Well, I do say that this is going to be by far our hardest game, probably for the rest of the regular season. Because after this, we get a bye week to rest up, so that'll be good. We got Kansas on the road. We got Iowa State at home. Iowa State, I think. I don't buy them. I really don't.
I buy the defense and Brees Hall, but that's it.
Yeah, they've had a lot of ups and downs, and which I mean, I guess kind of like us, but I do think that game is going to be relatively secure. But then again, watch us blow that one. And then we got Kansas State on the road, and Kansas State has since regressed ever since Skylar Thompson has gotten hurt and been out for the rest of the season. So this is a must-win game. It's going to be a hard one, and there's going to be a bye week after, so that will be beneficial. Let's talk about coaching implications. Tom Herman still coaching for his job. If he loses this game, there's a bye week right after.
Oh, it's done.
It's the perfect formula for if they decide to fire a coach, do so right before a bye week and right after a home loss.
I agree.
He's going to be coaching for his life. I mean, really for the rest of the year. To be honest.
Absolutely.
But this game in particular too, because I really think that people are maybe not so much like people that know football and are like invested in it, like ourselves and other people that watch this show, but like I think regular fans, that don't really know anything about West Virginia, they're like, oh, it's an unranked West Virginia team. Like, how did y'all lose this game?
Floor. Yeah, they're tired of losing to the nobodies or the lower half of the Big 12. Like, they're tired of like having not playing to their competition. It's just funny because we'll never be able to like relax in the Big 12, and we shouldn't. We're gonna get everyone's best swing, and it's up to us to swing just as hard back. And that's my problem with Texas football as of late and under Tom Herman, is we get everyone's best swing, but we don't always give our best swing out. And that's just the epitome of what a Herman coached a football team is.
It's super frustrating to me because, like you said, we get everybody's best swing, but so does OU. And OU, they just played in Tech. They played at Lubbock. And they were up 48-14 in the second quarter.
Yeah,
and when we played at Tech, we were just like dying the entire game. Just had to have a miracle comeback. And then look at TCU. They destroyed TCU in Fort Worth. Not a sweat. We had to like sweat it out and lose in a really tough game. So yeah, it's just the fact that we can't live up to that Texas with the target in our back, but OU can. And then OU beats us from the field on top of that. It's reached a boiling point, like almost a tipping point. And, another loss to a team like West Virginia. Not saying we're superior to them because they're a good team, but just the optics of it don't bode well for Herman.
What do y'all think the chances – let's say we do lose on Saturday. What are the chances do you think that he's gone on Sunday?
I think it depends on if the backup's lined up and in place and agreed, and there's a contract already ready to go.
Mhm.
But and with all the back channeling that you hear with Texas and Urban, I don't know. Like I feel like it's very credible based on all the research that I've done from people with sources. I think there's a pretty strong chance. I wouldn't say it's like a certainty or anything. There's definitely a chance that um, that they hold off because apparently if they wait till December 1st, the buyout goes down, which I'm not even sure how that would work because he still owed like X amount of dollars. Like I don't know how the buyout would drop. They still have to pay it overall, I think. Um, so I don't know. I mean, there's rumors that we're waiting till December 1st because, like I said, the buyout. But I could definitely see us like being in a spot where we like demote Herman, so we just kind of show the recruits that we're addressing the problem because recruiting is not helping Herman at all right now. That's one of the other factors of him being on such thin ice. Recruiting is like at an all-time low since I've seen ever at Texas. This is like the worst state we've ever been in recruiting,
Exactly.
and it's going to get worse if we take another loss. Recruits aren't buying the sunshine and rainbows anymore that Herman was selling. They're realizing now that Texas isn't producing at the rate we should. I mean, under Charlie was able to hide it. Herman's just like out of luck now. All these blue chippers are leaving the state in droves and going to OU and then talking trash, going to Ohio State, going to A&M too. It's just that's really what's hurting Herman too. That's because even if you're winning, if we keep the recruiting as is, the trajectory of the program's in a decline because
Right.
Yeah, man.
because OU surging in recruiting. They're getting top 5 talent now. Like they're getting like really elite talent for the first time ever. They're going to have a way better class than us for the first time I can remember in a long time. Usually we out recruit them. Now combine their great coaching staff, Lincoln Riley, with their young team who's going to be coming back next year, everybody, and be really good next year. It just sets up where we're going to be second fiddle or worse in the Big 12 for a long time, long term. So yeah, it just adds to like how thin of the ice that Herman's standing on right now because it's there's a lot of other things outside of the record that
Yeah.
are dangerous to the future of the program.
For me, I feel like some Texas fans they need to zoom out and like see like it's not like just wins and losses that make a team, and especially in college football. Like it permeates through a whole program. I've beat. I mean, once I learned this, and I've preached it to the end of time. Like recruiting equals wins. Like you look at the best teams. You look at the best teams in the nation. What are they? They're top 5 recruiting. It's because they get the players, man.
Right.
If you don't have the players, I'm sorry. Like you can develop as much as you want, but you're not going big time. And Herman's not taking us big time, man. And the way recruiting goes, like I'm telling you, it may get worse, but it's definitely staying the same. And for me, that's unacceptable. You can't sell me progress when I know what's coming. I know the same type of talent is not coming, and it pisses me off. It's as the young adult I am, and I've been paying attention to college football in Texas in particular a lot more. The trend of the past, I guess 10 years or so, maybe not 10 years, 8 or so, of just seeing like the best talent like go to Ohio State or go to some Big Ten school or go to the SEC, and it's just like they want to play here, like but they just, what are you offering me? And we're just not offering anything good, and it's always made me mad to see like the best 5 stars leave Texas because it's like they actively were like, no, this place is not going to make me what I want to be. So, and I think some Texas fans don't want to acknowledge that. They just want to be like, look, it's the Longhorn logo. Why don't they want to come? It's like, dude,
They want to live in the past.
yeah, exactly. It's just like they don't care anymore. They want to win and they want to go to a place where they'll be their best. And they obviously are choosing not. They're obviously Texas isn't telling them that. No one cares how many likes you can get from a Texas football post. Every school can do that. So. Yeah, that's what I want any Texas fans to do is zoom out, look at the bigger picture, please.
Yeah. Nail on the head, man. Nail on the head.
Yeah, I don't know how to West Virginia preview turned into that rant, but hey.
We're talking about Tom Herman.
Yeah, I know.
Man.
that's why even a win, and it's like, we'll say we do win, and it's just like, well, like we still have, like, it's not looking good still, man.
Right. You're kicking the can down the road.
Congrats, we're 5-2, but next year we're gonna have no one coming in.
A lot of people have been saying that the OU, if Texas and CDC, I mean, we could talk about that too, but let's not, just for the sake of keeping this, under an hour, because we could go on forever about the Del Conte drama as well behind this whole Herman thing. But yeah, a lot of people are now saying, like, we should have just fired him after OU when the iron was hot, or whatever metaphor you want to use there. Whenever it looked the worst, and instead we continued to give him the benefit of doubt. And hey, I mean, if we win this game, like, there's a good chance we can win out. Like, and especially after that Oklahoma State game, I mean, you saw the players crowd surfing Tom Herman in the locker room, which amazed me, and celebrating, in a very fun fashion and running out on the field. I mean, it was a big, even though it was an ugly win, it was a big win. And it showed that this team, I mean, at least from the outside, seems to, well, actually, I'm not sure what they think of the coaching staff. I was going to say they obviously like him, but maybe they like each other. So I don't know. Point is, this is all a lot of really big stuff, and a lot of implications on this game and just the rest of the year with the trajectory of this program. Let's go into score predictions.
Let's get it.
Myers, you want to kick things off?
Okay. Yes. So whenever I choose Texas to win, we lose. Whenever I choose us to lose, we win. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the Mountaineers here to win 27-24. I expect a rock fight. The defenses definitely get a lot of stops, cause the offense problems. I think it'll be another game where Sam Ehlinger looks off, and that'll be largely because West Virginia has a really good defense and a good D-line, and our O-line's shaky. So hopefully Bijan steps up, and Sam can also step up. But I'll say West Virginia gets a big win, and their kicker, whose last name is Leg, leads them to
dude.
Better than Dicker and Leg.
Yeah, Leg. Oh my God.
2 G's or 1?
Yeah, Leg. I think what's his full name is.
Is it 2 G's or 1 G?
It's 2 G's.
Okay.
Casey Leg. So Casey Leg's going to get a clutch field goal down the stretch to end Tom Herman's career.
Fair enough.
Man.
Who's next?
I'll go ahead and go. I got us winning 30 – wait. Why am I always so bad with the projections? 31-20 my goodness. 31-28. Yes.
Nice.
I should have just looked at the notes instead of trying to remember it. But, yeah, I mean, very much like with what Myers said, except I have us winning instead of losing. I expect kind of more of a low-scoring affair. Battle in the trenches, very methodical football game. Do I think there'll be some turnovers? Yeah. I mean, there certainly has been these past few games. And I just don't see us going off really against this defense. But at the same time, I think that our defense is blossoming these past few games and continuing to get better and better. Osai is continuing to just become an absolute stud. And I think that I don't like saying this because it's difficult to, but I do think that this team is on a slight upward trajectory right now, and is starting to, and maybe it's because Tom Herman's on the serious hot seat, and maybe the players are finally stepping up to the bell and playing, more sound, more passion, more energy. I mean, I feel like I'm kind of seeing that, especially on defense. Offense is still inconsistent on an energy standpoint. But yeah, big game, home game. We don't like West Virginia. They don't like us. And just backs against the wall. I got us winning in a close game.
Okay. Well, so it looks like Keontae is out. Maybe not whole season, but a good chunk of the rest of the season. So I really believe this is a full-on Bijan game, and we're going to see him have a really, really good game and he might run away with the job just because of that. Nervous about their defense getting to Sam a lot, but we are favored by what, 6.5? Yeah, I got us winning by a touchdown, 35-28, and it's just going to be one of those games that like we just kick the can down the road with Tom because he's winning. But yeah, Bijan game, 35-28. I'll take us to win.
Nice.
So
So hopefully y'all are right. I'm more skeptical about this game, but
yeah. And let's address the haters real quick. Like, we've been getting a lot of hate, I feel like, lately with people
because
saying
we're not pumping sunshine and rainbows. That's why we're not saying nice things.
Everyone's like, "Oh, you want the Longhorns to lose."
Yeah, dude.
No.
I wake up every game and I'm like, yes, I hope we win.
We do not root against our team. Do we want the betterment of our team? Yeah. Would Urban Meyer be the betterment of our team long term? Probably. So yeah, but no, we ain't rooting. We aren't rooting against the Longhorns. We don't want them to lose.
It's okay to take off the rose tinted glasses sometimes and criticize things when they look bad. Like, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. Trust me.
Yeah. I want to flip that back on the people saying, "Oh, you're such haters. You want your team to lose. You want the players to lose." No, we want our players to go to the NFL and succeed. So we want Herman to do that or get someone that can. So yeah, we grew up living and breathing the burnt orange. So it's just quite silly to say that. Y'all just need to gain more perspective, I guess, on the whole. Because recruiting is more of what I take issue with, because that's just setting us up to fail. As A&M and Jimbo Fisher are surging, and same with Oklahoma, it's just setting us up to be like third fiddle in our region. So I think the urgency is there right now, and it's a perfect opportunity with Urban Meyer is a free agent. That's not going to last forever. He's going to take a job eventually, and probably soon. So that's just why I'm very everything's very intense right now for me and us.
Agreed.
Zoom out.
Yes, sir. Trevor, close it out for us.
Well, thank you guys for watching. If you watched this far, again, be sure to subscribe as always. If you aren't subscribed yet, drop us a like, leave a comment, do all three, and make a turkey, like Matt Myers said at the beginning.
Turkey.
We're gonna keep saying that. That's the first time you've said that, and I like it. Give us a turkey, especially now that we're in the month of November. But yeah, let's hope that the Longhorns can pull off a win going into the bye week. If not, there'll be a lot of juicy things to be talking about. So until next time, see you guys. Y'all take care.
Yeah.